California firefighter John Orr has gone down in history as the Pillow Pyro, a name he earned after starting more than 2,000 destructive fires. His crime would cost Californians tens of millions of dollars, and it would lead to the deaths of four people. Orr would later write about his secret life in a manuscript that he called Point of Origin. Well, welcome to Profiling Evil. If you're new to our channel, thanks for joining up. And if you're one of my university students or a longtime channel member, welcome back. Thanks so much for your support. I hope that you'll take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button while we talk about arson and arsonists. John Orr became a firefighter after he failed to make the cut as a police officer in California. Reports suggest that his co-workers thought he was odd, but this guy was a pro at figuring out where the next fire would be. In fact, he was the guy that would usually be the first firefighter on the scene of a blaze, and he always seemed to know the best way to put that particular fire out. What really impressed his coworkers, though, was that he was the first to figure out where the fire actually started and what the accelerant was that was used. I mean, how could he be that brilliant? Well, Orr started all the fires with the same kind of incendiary device. He'd use a cigarette attached to a book of matches wrapped in paper with cotton and bedding. That's how he got the nickname of Pillow Pyro. Well, as the cigarette would burn down, it would reach that book of matches, which would just burst into a powerful flame, igniting the paper and the bedding and turning it into a raging fire. His crimes continued all the way through 1984 when he started a hardware store fire. This one was terrible. Inside were four people, including a 2-year-old child. They couldn't escape the fire and they died. It would take 5 years until this guy was arrested after that fire. He was attending an arson investigators conference in Bakersfield, California in January of 1987. And several suspicious fires broke out. Now, nobody suspected him. He was just one of the conference attendees. Well, the investigators at that fire discovered a single fingerprint on a piece of notebook paper. The case went cold until another outbreak of fires happened 2 years later at the same time of another investigators conference, this one going on in Pacific Grove. Well, investigators had a hunch, and they looked at the attendees from the first conference when the fires occurred and the second conference, and they found that there were 10 people who had attended both conferences. Well, they dug into it, and after closer investigation, they discovered the fingerprint matched John Orr. Orr was arrested and convicted. They went to the house and served search warrants and recovered all kinds of evidence. And that guy sits in a California prison today with a lifetime sentence. So what is this phenomenon of arson and the arsonist? The U.S. Department of Justice identified 7 different things that motivate arsonists to commit these crimes. They are pyromania, revenge, vandalism, insurance fraud, welfare fraud. They have one category called the psycho fire setter and the crime concealment offender. Now, pyro fire setters usually set fires in occupied buildings, dwellings, and usually at night. This arsonist is generally going to place the accelerant in a public portion of the building, usually on the floor area. Revenge fire setters will threaten the arson act before they actually do it. They usually will focus on a residence or building that's associated with the intended target of their anger. They prefer flammable liquids, according to the statistics, and they prefer flammable liquids as the accelerant in order to get these fires started in one or more places. On the other hand, vandal arsonists target occupied dwellings as well as commercial buildings, places like schools, churches, or abandoned buildings. They prefer to do it at nighttime, and they usually start the fire on the first floor. Now, the most obvious arsonist is the criminal who starts a fire for insurance purposes. They do it usually on property they own, and they know that the insurance will benefit them. The fire is designed to completely destroy the property so that this perpetrator can get the maximum payoff with the smallest amount of inconvenience. Welfare fraud fires are usually set in the residence of the perpetrator after all of their valuable property has been removed. And then there's the crime concealment arsonist that is concealing some type of criminal activity they've committed, such as a burglary or, in severe cases, a homicide. They usually are more disorganized and they'll use existing accelerants, things that they can find at the scene. Now, the psycho arsonist sets the fire in his own residence and customarily will start one small fire without the use of any kind of an accelerant. Statistically, 94% of all arsonists are male and 82% are white. Most of these perpetrators are single or divorced people, and 90% of them didn't go to college. It says a lot about the need for education, doesn't it? I found it interesting that 87% of arsonists had previously been arrested on a felony charge. And most of the arsonists said they set an average of 25 fires without ever being questioned by investigators. Well, arson is a serious problem in every region of the world. It results in property loss, injury, and fatalities. Experts define it as the deliberate and malicious burning of property where three elements are present. There's got to be the burning of property, and the fire is started by an incendiary device or an attack. The third, finally, is the fire must be started with the intent of destroying property. Well, I hope this segment helps you gain a better understanding of arson and the arsonist. This is an area that I don't have a lot of expertise in, and much of what I've spoken about comes from professional studies on the topic. You can learn more by just getting out on the web and searching for arson, but I'd suggest sticking to official studies and documents. If you like this video, I hope that you'll consider clicking that like and subscribe button over there. Ring the bell so that you get all of our informative videos like this one. Profiling Evil can be found on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you're into podcasts, you can also find us on your favorite podcast platform. So thanks for supporting us. Thanks for being a part of the Academy, and we'll see you soon at the next crime scene.